Being fully present is beautiful, but in a world where perfection is always being demanded, it's easy to lose sight of that. Embracing the process of self-discovery means acknowledging that our prior experiences and ego-driven narratives can greatly limit our capacity to fully immerse ourselves in the beauty of every moment. Adopting the practice of being present entails more than just being in the present moment. It necessitates forging profound connections with both ourselves and the environment, enabling authentic encounters and profound emotional experiences. This investigation promotes a paradigm change by challenging you to uncover your own self by dismantling the barriers of cultural norms and your own past. Join me on this illuminating trip, and I promise you will discover profound truths and actionable tactics for developing an attitude of gratitude, authenticity, and mindfulness. Subscribe to our channel and come along as we uncover the keys to living life to the fullest, most genuine version of yourself. Don't miss out on this chance. Does anything exist outside the temporary identity you're currently assuming? You, like everyone else, have a conditioned entity and a past. Is this conditioned creature all there is? Another crucial part of the Buddha's teaching is the concept of the self, or the ultimate unreality of that self. Even though this concept appears in Jesus' teachings, churches and theologians choose to ignore it. A literal translation of Jesus' words is "deny thyself." I was under the impression that the Buddha once stated that, but the one who really stated "deny thyself" was Jesus. I don't understand. In the event that the self is genuine, why try to suppress it? It would be illogical to deny the reality of something if it had significant ultimate truth. Jesus' use of the phrase "deny thyself" reflects his agreement with the Buddha that our sense of self is illusory. Beyond that, there is something more profound. This means that when Jesus says "deny thyself," he is essentially urging you to see how absurd you are. When you deny yourself, you're acknowledging that this isn't your true identity. A component of your bodily and mental selves, it has a purpose here and is intrinsic to your identity. The reason behind my term, your form identity, is this: who you are is of the form of the rational mind, not of the internal mind, is what pours out. A person's physical form is their body, and their mental form is their identity as that person in relation to their thoughts, words, and the feelings that come with those thoughts and words, all shaped by their past. You are the person you are today because of everything that has happened to you in the past. Is that the limit of what's possible? It is at this point that we understand this to be true. You can go beyond this surface-level self-awareness and into a more profound understanding of who you are. A key distinction is that although the individual's sense of self is present, it is not predominantly essential anymore. Many of you have a notion of what I mean, but we can delve even farther into it if you find anything. Beyond your identity and your sense of self, there exists a part of you that is larger than both. I like to refer to it as deeper, but we could also say higher. Choosing the right term is irrelevant. Instead of seeking something higher outside of yourself, it's more beneficial to search within and meet your shadow side. Is there a way to get to that? In what ways can we learn that? There's the epiphany. From what do you emerge without slumber? That's just your average wake-up call. Upon opening your eyes each morning, you become aware of a profound change from the dream state to the so-called waking state. You open your eyes and think, "Oh, here I am again." When you wake up, prior to that though, there existed the dreaming or dreamless sleep state during which you slept. Afterwards, you emerge from that state with a start. This is a metaphor from traditional spiritual traditions for a higher level of awakening than the one you experience when you wake up after a night's sleep. In a spiritual sense, there is still another waking, and that is the awakening from the usual or unconscious state of consciousness. In this position, you are utterly consumed by your conditioned thought and emotional patterns, and you have identified fully with your mental and emotional programming. Stating, "I think," as if one had a say, belies the fact that the vast majority of people either do not know or do not care. They are unable to recognize their own thinking because they are unable to exit their thoughts. Like a roaring torrent, it carries people forward, and they're usually miserable as a result. To them, it defines who they are. I am very sick of this. When tomorrow comes around, what am I to expect? I need to give this some thought. Currently, I am unable to slumber. What am I going to do about all these issues that have been plaguing me? A lot of people's issues stem from their sense of self. They try to receive help from a therapist or psychiatrist for these issues, but they have a hard time letting go. They see their issues as integral to who they are, thus they resist the need to rid themselves of them. I mean, at least I'm dealing with the same old issues. Entering the unknown is not something I intend to do. In any case, I'm aware of my own identity. Even if I'm miserable, I have a firm grasp on my identity. I'm led astray. There are several levels of awareness, according to ancient Indian spiritual texts. Normal wakefulness, dreaming, and dreamless sleep have all been recognized. However, there are varying degrees of normal wakefulness. Putting that aside, there is a state of awareness known as turiya in Sanskrit. In this fully awakened condition, you separate yourself from the train of thought. When you're in this state, your thoughts aren't consuming you, and you're not being pulled in an endless loop. Being cognizant of your feelings and ideas without becoming completely absorbed by them is possible. That moment in your life when you realize you can interrupt your train of thought is the first step toward enlightenment. When one suddenly realizes that their thoughts aren't really who they are, for some, that's when their awakening begins. Who they are transcends their thoughts, which are merely that. There is no simple way to explain it, but I will provide some guidelines that should help you separate your thoughts from the flow of thought. You don't have to be fully identified to be conscious of your thoughts and feelings. Remain on your feet. After giving it some thought, it's clear that being fully present in the moment, rather than trying to achieve an impossible ideal of perfection, is essential on the road to accepting oneself as one really is. If you want to experience more authentic connection, spontaneity, and personal growth in your life, try actively releasing your urge to control every aspect of it. Making time in your day for mindful breathing exercises is a great way to start this practice. Take a moment to pause and ground yourself in the here and now. It's a simple way to reconnect with your body and mind. If you were moved by these profound ideas, I invite you to demonstrate your support by giving this video a like and adding the word "now" to the comments section. Remember to share this important message with someone who could gain enlightenment from it. The path to self-discovery is worthwhile, so be sure to subscribe to our channel for more insightful conversations that will help you become your true self.